Go back to my hometown, home of the Houston Astros, and talk to Lynn in Houston. What's up, Lynn?
Hey, how are you?
Partying. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thanks for taking my call.
Of course. Thanks for calling. What are you doing? What's up?
So my question is, how do I learn to trust my husband again and to be vulnerable in my marriage to move forward after discovering lies and secrets that my husband has been keeping for years?
Oh, gosh, I'm sorry. How long have y'all been married?
We've been married 9 years.
Okay. Tell me the secrets. What'd you find?
So in 2020, we were refinancing our house, and I found a large debt on our debt to wealth ratio statement. And when I questioned my husband about it, I found out that he had been hiding about $60,000 in credit card debt since 2016.
What was he spending that money on?
He had tried to start a side business or a construction business after he had gotten laid off. And I didn't know that he wasn't making enough to cover his expenses. And so he was just putting things on credit cards and not telling me about it. And interest would hit and it would get bigger, and then interest would hit and get bigger, and it just snowballed out of control.
How long did this last?
It started in 2016. I first found out about it in 2020. He told me that he had it under control. He had gotten a line of credit. He was working to pay it off. It was going to be gone within 18 months. Not to worry about it. The next year in 2021, we tried to buy some land, and through that process, I found out that he did not have it under control, and he was continuing to rack up more debt.
I'm calling bullcrap on the business expense. There's something else going on here. Like I would ask for an itemized list report of the things that were purchased on those balance sheets, whether it's the line of credit purchases or on the credit card statements. $60,000, because otherwise there'd be assets that you could see, like a truck or a tractor or a bunch of tools.
Mm-hmm. Right.
What
he would say is he would move it over to a zero interest credit card, then he wouldn't get it paid off in time, and then all the back interest would hit.
I know, but you're talking $60,000.
Yeah.
There's something else at play. Is he seeing somebody?
Well, not that I'm aware of at that time.
But now?
So
he's seeing somebody now?
Well, about 6 months ago, I found out that he was having he claims an emotional affair. He says nothing physical happened with a coworker.
Here's why you can't trust, because you know in your guts you're not getting the full story.
Mm-hmm.
Don't you?
Yes.
You know it. You've known this dude for more than a decade, right?
Yeah.
And you know you're not getting the full story.
Years.
How long?
20 years.
You know you're not getting the full story.
Mm-hmm.
Why haven't you demanded the full story? You haven't because you're scared. Why?
Well, I tried. I honestly, when I found out about this goal, I
hold on. Talk directly into your phone for me.
Oh, sorry. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
When I found out about this girl, I tried to demand the whole story and really begged for it. And I feel like I just maybe got the full story about a month ago. Maybe. I don't know. At this point, I don't know what to believe anymore, which is why I'm calling you.
So, he's not on the phone to defend himself, and so I can throw grenades at him all day long. I don't like to be that guy. I don't think he's telling you the truth. And I think there's something else. Usually when somebody racks up this kind of debt, it's one of two things. And it does happen in construction, so I want to give that. There's usually significant assets. There's big purchases that were made. Like, I'm starting a construction company or a lawn company there in Houston. I got to get the biggest dually truck, whatever, and the nicest mowers. But there's stuff, right? Stuff that we can go sell or that it's hard to hide because it's sitting right here, right? There's that. Or there's somebody buying hotel rooms and purses and small trips for other people on a credit card. And that happens and you don't get caught. And then it happens again and you don't get caught. And then it happens again. And suddenly you're running some businessy debt-ish, sort of ish, and you're running some personal life stuff. And we're going to the baseball game and we're doing some stuff. And I'm going to be out late, or I can't come home this weekend, or we're going to this thing over the weekend. The job's got crazy, so I'm just getting a hotel and I'll be here tonight. And those things happen year after year after year. And all of a sudden, somebody goes to get a loan for a small thing and it's huge. I hope beyond all hope I'm wrong on that. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I hope I'm wrong. But something tells me you haven't got the full story on that money. And something tells me you haven't trusted him for a long, long time. So the only person I can say anything to is you because you're on the phone. And so I'm going to ask you like a super direct question. What do you need to see with your own eyes so that you can exhale? Because you haven't exhaled in months and months and months, if not years. Is it text
Honestly,
messages?
like,
Is it bank statements? What do you need to see?
yeah, I mean, honestly, I've been more upset about this relationship with this other woman than I ever did about the finances.
Why? Why?
I don't know. I guess because I found the Ramsey plan. There was a plan to fix it. There was a path, you know.
But
There's no
he was
path
never
for
up
the
and up
fix.
about the dishonesty.
I'm sorry.
He was never up and up about the dishonesty.
Yeah.
Like, okay, so you've got the money thing, you've got the emotional affair with the coworker, and that's not right. It happens all the time, right? So I mean, it's not a deal breaker in a relationship. It's not a marriage deal breaker. It's not a dating deal breaker. Those things happen. We sit down, we work through them, and we figure them out. Okay, so I'm not minimizing that at all, but also you would not be calling me and saying, is this thing over? How do I come back from this? If it was just that. If it was just a few months, he was close to somebody at work, they shared a few laughs, they exchanged texts that they probably shouldn't exchange, started hiding stuff. Like that wouldn't lead to this. So there's something else going on. What else do you feel he's not honest with you about fully?
Well, I mean, a few weeks ago, or I guess about a month ago, we came to Austin for the Smart Conference, and he's been doing a bunch of side work to help pay off all this debt. And so he's been working a lot in a single woman's home. And so I got insecure and was asking questions about their relationship and, is she attractive and those kinds of things. And then not 2 days later, I find deleted text messages between them where he had taken my insecurities and shared them with her.
Hmm. That sucks. Was it in a mocking way, kind of making fun of you a little bit, or we're getting caught?
It was, well, I mean, according to him, I mean, all I saw was like her text message that said something along the lines of like, thinking about your wife's question, I would never, you're an honest family man. I would never, interrupt your precious family. And so apparently he told her that like when we were in Austin, she came up and I started asking how if she was pretty. And, according to him, he just wanted to make sure that the professional lines were there, which is BS, but that's the story.
That's not true.
Yes, I do.
Okay.
But that's all I'm able to get out of him.
So are you just going to settle?
I don't know. I don't want to. I mean, we have 2 children.
Mm-hmm.
to add on to this, like I have a chronic disease that like I don't think we've really dealt with. And so there's just a lot of layers.
Yeah. Did he ever agree to go to marriage counseling with you?
We have our second session on Thursday.
Okay. What was the first session like? Just introductory?
Yeah.
Okay. Here's what I would do if I was you. Like I'm just trying to fast forward myself and like pick myself up and put myself in your shoes. And I'm with somebody that I built a life with. I'm with somebody that I love. They've been at this point, how old are you?
37.
Okay, you've known him longer than you haven't known him, right?
Yeah.
Like he's one of your arms and one of your legs at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's hard to face the truth about that. But here we are. And I would spend a couple of days writing down where are the things, if I go back over the last 5 or 10 or 15 years, where are the things that something came up and my first thought was, that's not right. But I just blew it off. I just passed it over. I didn't dig in any further. I want you to write those things down. And here's the key. He opened the door with his financial infidelity, and I'm using that word intentionally. He was deceitful. He cheated on you with money, and it impacts you because your name is on all the things. And it impacted your refi. It impacted this dream of owning land that you had. And then he told you he had another plan. He was working on it. And you come to find out he not only lied about having a plan, he dug the hole deeper. And then he had an emotional affair with somebody at work. And then you went with your intuition. You trusted that gut, that voice in your gut, and you called him out on somebody at work, some woman's house he's working in. And he clearly had some sort of secondary conversation with her that seemed strange and off book, and he wanted to make sure you didn't see it. And those are just the few you've told me about in these 5 minutes. And I want you to write those things down. And when you sit down with a therapist, I want you to say, I can't go forward in this marriage until I get some truthful answers. And I don't feel like you've been telling me the truth for a long, long time. Because you and him can come up with all the new conversation strategies and communication strategy and all this stuff, but you don't feel like the ground underneath you is solid, right?
Right.
I can hear it in your voice. You think you're crazy.
Yes.
You're not crazy. You're not crazy. You've been moved around and shuffled and kind of pushed to the side. Here, you kind of been treated like you're dumb for a long time. She's too dumb. And I don't think you're dumb. Is that fair?
Yeah.
And here, man, I will say this. I'll preach this to choir. He can call me. I'd love to have him on the show. And if I'm wrong about every step of the way, if he just found himself in a scary, deep, shameful hole when it came to money and he just kept digging and the hole kept getting bigger, I've sat with those guys. And that happens. That's true. And he hated who he'd become. He was ashamed of himself. And then he found somebody at work that laughed at his jokes. And suddenly he's sharing stuff and confiding in somebody else. It's not his wife because his wife is a callback to how that happens. Those two things happen. They happen with some regularity. And I'm not going to beat somebody up for those moments, but we got to take some radical action to change them. But what you're telling me is something that sounds different. Fair?
Yes.
Why are there tears coming?
Because, I mean, that's exactly how I feel. I mean, I feel like he just thinks that I'm stupid and that he can just keep, getting away with things. But then also I know that like when I got diagnosed, there was like a big shift in our relationship.
You know why he thinks that? He can get away with things? Why does he think that, Lynn?
Because he did for so long, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, because he can. Because he can. And he'll just delete the messages, and when you find the deleted messages, he'll call you crazy and you're nuts, and then you're exhausted. You got 2 kids, and the thought of anything disruptive at this point is just too much, and so, I guess I'm just crazy. I'm just gonna go into the next day. And first it was the refi, and then it was the trip to Austin, then it was the, "Hey, let's buy some land," and it's just gonna keep coming up and coming up and coming up. And at some point, someone's gotta turn the lights on, turn off the music, and say, "The dance is over. I need to know the truth. We gotta be adults. We gotta talk. We gotta be honest. Let's just get this all out here." So if I'm you, thankfully he agreed to go to marriage counseling. Hopefully it's not just a perfunctory deal to get you off his back. Hopefully he's actually interested in healing this marriage. I would say the things you've just told me. Here's the things that over the course of our marriage feel like you're not telling me the truth, and you've made me feel crazy for throwing a flag on him. I've got to know the truth. And it may be that I want to see all the financial records. I want to see every expenditure, all of them. And it may be I want to get every single text message you've sent and all the emails and all of the WhatsApp and all the Signal. I want to get all the conversations. And also, when I got diagnosed, you started treating me differently. And now I feel less than. Let's get to the bottom of it. Let me just say this. I don't think you're crazy, Lynn. I think you've ignored that voice in your chest for so long. And now she's screaming at you. We're not safe. We're not safe. We're not safe. We're not safe. Maybe for the first time in a long time, let's listen to that voice. Let me know how the trip with the conversation with the counselor goes, and I'll walk with you every step of the way. Thanks for your call. Thanks for being brave.